With so much content whizzing around out there, there's only one storytelling platform that helps you keep calm and stay informed and inspired: Flipboard. Flipboard curates the world's stories so you can be smarter in your work, life, and play. Choose from thousands of topics to personalize Flipboard and get the latest stories from the best publishers and experts delivered to you 24/7. When you see stories you want to save or share, tap the plus button to add them to private or public collections. It's that simple. Used by millions of people every day, Flipboard is how people move themselves and the world forward. Get started now at flipboard.com. It's the E-commerce Minute, your daily dose of e-commerce, tech, and retail news with your hosts Bart Mraz and John Suter. The E-commerce Minute is a production of Sumo Heavy, a digital commerce consulting firm in Brooklyn, New York, and Philadelphia. Find us on the web at sumoheavy.com. It's the E-commerce Minute for April 9th, 2018.
In today's episode, Kohl's Amazon return program is driving traffic.
We've got to follow up to a story we've been following for the last few months. In September, we reported that Kohl stores were piloting a program to allow customers to make Amazon returns at Kohl's stores. The partnership with Amazon, which began in 2017, presents an opportunity for Kohl's to boost foot traffic at its 81 participating locations in Chicago and Los Angeles. Kohl's chairman, president, and CEO Kevin Mansell says the partnership has so far been successful. He told CNBC in an interview, "We're a few months into it, but we know one thing for sure. The experience is amazing and people are using the service," the CEO said, noting that driving traffic has been Kohl's #1 priority for the last 2 years. Mansell said, "If the customer responds, they think it's a great experience, they use the service, but very importantly, it drives incremental traffic, then we're going to look to expand it." But Mansell admitted that Kohl's results were only half the equation. Amazon is also tracking how the Kohl's partnership affects its own business. Mansell also acknowledged that Amazon products and returns are far from the only things driving traffic into Kohl's stores. And as we reported last month, Kohl's has started investing more in its omni-channel strategy and testing flexible formats at its locations by filling vacant real estate with grocery or convenience stores. The company has also been able to stave off closing stores like many of its competitors because its stores are located outside of the mall.
Yay! Oh, Amazon returns. Wait, now we're picking up lockers and then we're going to drop them off at Kohl's?
You get
Wait a minute,
your,
we could buy Whole
you
Foods.
get your order from the locker at Whole Foods and then you return it at Kohl's. There's nothing complicated about this part.
Can we just return it into Whole Foods? That makes no sense.
You know, if Whole Foods had the footprint to do it, they probably would.
I think you can return stuff to those lockers, I believe.
Oh, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
That would make sense.
Right.
So these stores aren't just being, I've never seen how the stores are laid out because they're in Chicago and Los Angeles, and I don't live in either of those places, but I would assume that there is a sign by the returns counter, a small little sign that says Amazon returns here. But they also, what they do is they showroom some Amazon products there. That's kind of misleading because there's also little tables that they showroom the Echoes and the Kindles and the shows and all that kind of stuff.
Well, I'm going to be in LA as of tomorrow, so
I'm sure at first on your list is going to be, hold on, I need to go to the Kohl's store first. Could you please drop me off at Kohl's?
Oh, that's just way too funny.
So we follow Kohl's because Kohl's has an interesting thing. They're partnering with partnering with the e-commerce giant. So that's interesting to us. It's also interesting how they're kind of seeing the writing on the wall with a lot of retail and going omni-channel with having the other, to partner. And that the rumor was that a Whole Foods was going to move in there. But yeah, that they're going to partner with other smaller retailers. And I think that is really going to be kind of the future for some of these bigger retailers because those rents are expensive.
Yeah, I think so. Hopefully. You would hope, right?
You would hope. All right.
Closing stores, so there's that.
No, I don't want them closing stores. I'm going off a little tangent. I had to go visit somebody in a neighborhood that is not mine. And the one corridor has been notoriously just all strip centers. Like you don't even know where the houses are. It goes on for about a mile. And I hadn't been down there in about a year, and how drastically it had changed because these two strip centers, one strip center, the anchor was Kmart, and the other strip center, the anchor was Toys R Us. And as I'm driving by, the big giant black and yellow store closing signs were on both of those stores. and you could see that strip center was already being picked clean. Like I don't know what's going to happen to these long strips of roads where you have these empty stores, because what happens then is that people look at that and say, well, why would I buy a house in the neighborhood behind there? There's nothing here. It looks like bad news, man.
Yeah, I mean, that's gonna be rough, right? Because remember where the Walmart is by my parents' house?
Mm-hmm.
Like, if you look at that, I mean, the Pizza Hut that was there, I think they're rebuilding it to something else. And there's nothing left. I mean, Superfresh used to be there and it's gone. I think it's like a furniture store now.
We
But
have the exact same thing at Franklin Mills. There was
yeah,
the Walmart and the Superfresh, and they're both gone. And now the only thing that's happening with that is there's a giant flea market in the parking lot. But I don't think flea markets are going to save the economy.
I don't think it's the economy. It's just the reconfiguration of
Yeah,
what it is.
I just hate all this empty real estate. It becomes an eyesore eventually, and it's just downright depressing if you look at it.
Yeah, I mean, it's that's not the only place, but you see warehouses do that, like all downtown do it. Like it's kind of like, what do you do with this, right? Actually, our friend Alan has rebuilt in his city. If you haven't watched this yet, he has a fun. He bought a warehouse and rebuilt it into his home in downtown Panama City, which is gorgeous, and it's actually on YouTube, and he has a whole show about it.
Yeah, that is really cool. I started watching that. It's called Our Little Warehome. And what he did was he took this, like you said, he took an old abandoned warehouse in Panama City, Florida, where there was really nothing going on, found this interesting little building, bought it for 30 grand, and made a house out of it. And what he did was he thought, well, this is a great opportunity to make a documentary, because he's a filmmaker himself, so duh. And went to Lowe's, and they partnered with him, and they made a web series, 10-episode web series on YouTube called Our Little Warehome, and it's under the Lowe's Home Improvement channel. It's really good.
And the house is gorgeous after it's finished.
The house is gorgeous. I had been following the story on Twitter. Like, he had posted a lot of stuff, and I was casually following it. I didn't know that they were filming a documentary about it, so it's really cool. So if you're into urban planning and that kind of nerdy stuff, this is for you.
Yep.
Anything else, Bart?
That's about it.
All right. And as always, show notes are at our website, ecommerceminute.co. We will see you on the internet tomorrow. That's it for today's show. If you like the show, do us a favor and subscribe, or leave us a review on iTunes. And don't forget, you can now listen to the e-commerce minute on your Amazon device. Just add e-commerce minute to your flash briefing. And finally, if you have a comment or suggestion, or just want to say hi, find us on social media at Sumo Heavy.